joined by Minister of State for Data Protection and Telecoms, Sir Chris Bryant. So, Chris, thanks so much for being with us this morning, and good morning to you.
Thank you for having me.
You've seen that report from Sam. You can't trust AI, can you?
Well, AI is at the foothills, I think, of where it will end up. And AI was made for humanity, not humanity for AI. So we need, and we already know that within AI, it's developed its own concept of hallucination. So we know that it's going to have to get better. And sometimes that depends on the quality of the data goes into it.
That's right, yeah.
Which is why one of the things we've been very keen to say is that as we go forward, we think that AI needs to pay for the material that it's using to train its large language models. That's why we're in favour of proper remuneration for people in the creative industries and for a licensing scheme. You probably know that the UK is the second. It exports more books than any country in the world. I'm really keen, and having talked to lots of publishers in the UK, they're licensing AI companies for the precise reason that they want, A, to be remunerated, but also they want AI to be based on high-quality data and not fake data.
So you want creators to get the money that they're owed when their art is being used by artificial intelligence?
Yes, we've always said from the very beginning that we do want to get to a state where creators who in the analogue era have been able to protect their rights from other people using them without permission are able to have exactly those same rights in the digital era.
But no regulation on AI yet. Why?
Well, we will get to it. I mean,
we will get to it.
Yes, we will get. Yes, of course. We came into government last year. Nobody had done any work in this area at all in government. They'd made lots of big statements about it, but they'd not done any of the preparatory work. We produced a consultation on it earlier on this year. That consultation ended, I think, at the end of February. We are now considering. We had 11,500 people reply in that consultation. Lots of people care about this. We want to make sure that we get that regulation right.
And it's going to follow similar lines to the one that's in the EU at the moment, is it?
No, we are open-minded as to precisely what direction we travel down. I'm very hopeful if we manage to get the data bill, which is going through the House of Lords at the moment, House of Lords and Commons, in this ping-pong arrangement. We've got another round of that tomorrow. If we can get that out of the way, then we would very much like to be sitting down with people who are working in the AI companies and in the creative industries together to look at particularly transparency in this sector and how we can get to better licensing arrangements.
Now, you're here to talk about it's Tech Week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's London Tech Week.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are one of the most important tech countries in the world.
Yeah.
We have more AI companies in the UK and more of the AI and computing sector in the UK than anywhere else in Europe. We're the third largest tech sector in the world, and we want to build on that, which is why I'm announcing this morning £187 million of investment in tech skills, because we reckon that by 2030, roughly 10 million people in the UK, it won't just be Sam Coates, 10 million people in the UK will have jobs that have some element of AI involved in their responsibilities.
But you can't be certain that in those years that it's going to get better, may develop more hallucinations, and you're putting it at the very heart of this. It might not be a technology you can rely on.
I think we need to make sure that we get this right, and sometimes that won't just be about what we do in the UK. It's about working with other countries with similar value systems to make sure that we do get it right. But the bit that we must get right is we must invest, hence the £187 million we're investing in, first of all, in students. 1 million kids across the whole of the United Kingdom in secondary schools will be getting enhanced computing and IT skills from next year. We'll have 1,000 scholarships for students, bright students going to university. We'll have 500 PhD candidates receiving £10,000 each to look at ways in which you can use AI and computing skills to drive forward innovation in the economy. And we'll be doing something in every single locality in the UK to drive up, as I say, not just these skills, but make sure that we've got innovation. Because, it's a really striking fact. There's a hospital in the northeast of England where they employ 32 people to carry around the physical medical records of people. Well, it would make far more sense if all of that was digitally available, because you wouldn't have to employ people to carry them around.
You might lose those jobs. What are those 32 people going to do otherwise?
Well, they could actually be employed in delivering health benefits to people in the NHS. One of the things I think it's really important to think about as we go into the spending review, which will be announced on Wednesday.
I'm going to come on to that.
OK, good. Well, one part of it is obviously making sure that we spend enough money to make sure that we've got the services that we require. But spending money of itself isn't an achievement. Spending money and getting results is, and that's where I think tech and change. We have a really important plan for change in every single part of the way we run the state in this country, and that's going to deliver benefits for everybody.
So you can get 1 million kids working with AI. 77% of kids say that they've used AI to complete homework. Is that cheating to use AI to finish your homework?
No, sometimes schools will want them to use AI. Intelligent use of AI alongside an individual thinking is an important way of moving forward. Listen, I remember, I'm much older than you, but I remember when I was doing my O-level, that already ages me, we were allowed to use personal handheld calculators. Yeah, I remember the day when they came in, and I thought, hang on, are we only being allowed to use these so that somebody can sell one to me?
I'll give you my age as well. They took it away for the year after me.
But it's a serious point about AI is made for humanity, not humanity for AI. So you need to have the two working.
But as long as you keep it safe and as long as you have enough regulation.
100%. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Politically neutral as well. You know what?
I'm passionately agreeing with you.
Good. I agree. I like that you agree with me. The spending review then.
Yeah.
So there are going to be some departments that are going to miss out. As Mario was telling us, the Home Office haven't signed off.
I don't know whether they have or they haven't yet signed up. But look, I mean, as I said earlier, everybody knows this country's got to change. We've got to change direction. And the only way we're going to do that is if you have a plan for change. And a lot of that is embraced by how we spend our money. So we know that we've got to spend more money on defence. But we've said we're not just going to spend more money on defence to ensure our security, but we're also going to make sure that we've got a defence industrial strategy. So there'll be munitions factories in different parts of the country. That's about jobs as well. And secondly, we know that we've got to get the NHS back to the place where it should be. I'm really delighted that thanks to the £22.6 billion we've already invested in the NHS, that waiting lists are now falling month after month after month. People know that that's happening, and that's great. But we've still got to drive forward greater investment in those public services, as long as it drives forward change as well. So just one tiny example, we've put £50 million extra into the NHS app. We know that will save £200 million and make it in the next few years and make it easier for people to have access to the NHS. So I think there are double benefits where we can make investment, but also make sure that we're driving forward change.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still not clear exactly where those factories are going to be built for the investment in military infrastructure.
No, but for the first time,
they're going to come online either. Is that going to?
They will come online. But the most important thing is we've actually got an industrial strategy in this country. We've needed one for ages, and in the next few weeks we'll also be announcing an industrial strategy in the creative industries, for which I have responsibility, space and advanced telecoms, a whole series of different areas.
So, Chris, thank you for that. Listen, you will have seen the report from Ashish, and we're going to speak to Colin Rees later about assisted dying. There's a growing number of people, doctors and some politicians, who are now voting against the bill, worried about the safeguards. There's a vote coming in on Friday. How did you vote previously, and are you persuaded by some of the arguments you've heard in recent weeks?
So, as you know, the government doesn't have a formal position at all. Individual members are free to choose how they vote. I'm not going to hide my own personal preference. I abstained on the first time round. I decided I wasn't going to vote because I wanted to hear the debate. I've listened to a lot of the debate. Of course, I don't want anybody to feel that they're a burden on society and feel that should lead them towards taking their own life. But I also have heard the cries of people who are absolutely miserable, and that's why I will be voting for the bill.
You'll continue to vote for the bill on Friday?
That is my plan. But as I say, the government has no formal position at all.